The 2014 ITU Plenipotentiary Conference that makes decisions on global ICT policies is being held in Busan, Korea. What is its significance and what are the key topics proposed by each country? 5G communications technology is unveiled for the first time on the sidelines of the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference. What is the core principle of 5G and how will our 5G-enabled future look like? Criticisms of Abenomics have been rising recently in Japan. Is Abenomics implemented 2 years ago a successful or a failed policy? Coal that reduced carbon dioxide by a whopping 30% has been developed. What is the core technology of this eco-friendly, highly efficient hybrid coal? North Korea has participated in the Incheon Asian Para Games for the first time. Does North Korea have welfare policies, including policies for those with disabilities? If so, how are they being implemented?
Hello, I'm Andrew Salmon and welcome to Bizline. Now, since October the 20th, Busan's Bexco Exhibition Centre has been all abuzz with the chatter of discussion taking place against the background hum of whirring high technologies. About 3,000 people, including IT-related ministers and multinational executives, are attending the UN's 2014 International Telecommunications Union Plenipotentiary Conference, the so-called ICT Olympics. So, stay with us here on Bizline as we convey you down to the heart of Busan and the heart of the action.
The 2014 International Telecommunications Union Plenipotentiary Conference has kicked off in Busan, the second largest city in the Republic of Korea. The global ICT community's eyes are on this city now. The ITU Plenipotentiary Conference, dubbed the ICT Olympics, as it is held every 4 years, raised its curtain on October 20th in Bexco, Busan for a 3-week run.
내년에 역사적인 창설 150주년을 맞는 ITU가 전기통신과 ICT 발전 그리고 국가 간 협력을 위해 지속적으로 큰 역할을 해주기를 기대합니다.
The ITU Plenipotentiary Conference is a top decision-making meeting in which about 3,000 people, including 140 ministers and vice ministers around the world and government representatives from about 170 countries, participate. Its main agendas include establishment of trust in the Internet, such as ITU's role in Internet-related public policy and cybersecurity, improvement in alienated groups such as women and children's access and usability of information communications, and frequency allotment for tracking real-time location of aircraft using satellite are also key topics to be discussed.
We have to expect to increasing our brand image of our country and this very beautiful port city, Busan, and also we have held the ICT exhibition. Through this ICT exhibition, it's a kind of the opportunity for the small and medium-sized economy enterprises to show their newly developed technology and their product to the international society.
The latest conference has been designed as a smart conference, as if to prove Korea is an ICT infrastructure power. Instead of paper, tablets and smartphones were provided to delegates. They were provided with a giga-level network environment in which thousands of terminals can access at the same time. The latest digital conference system equipment is fully made in Korean, showing the possibility of Korea growing into a global vendor.
There is technology everywhere. There is Wi-Fi connection in the underground station, on the trains, everywhere. So it's really amazing to see how much Korea has developed a good infrastructure in ICT.
As the latest conference was the largest in size, it attracted strong attention from foreign media. They were mainly interested in how Korea's creative economy and information and communications technology have come to current levels.
在韩国在 ITC 方面体现的一个是速度的快速，像5G 这个时代，韩国做的一直都是非常先进的。第二个呢，就是一个技术的一个融合吧，就像是那个智能家庭、智能家居，还有智能汽车这方面，在这个方面的这个在智能应用方面的呢这个领域，也做的是非常领先的，所以给人的印象还是很深刻的。
Hundreds of local and foreign ICT firms have participated during the event period. Foreign firms participating in the event were impressed by Korea's information and communications technology.
One of the reasons that we're here is to promote our paint simulation technology, and we're actively looking for Korean companies to partner with in some way to show off. For example, Samsung's Note devices, we'd like to have our paint simulation on those devices, as well as LG. They're doing some incredible stuff as well. So yeah, that's what we're looking for partners to help sell products, both our products and their products.
We find some very interesting security-related software vendors here in Korea that we can potentially partner with in the future. So Korea has a long experience with high-speed internet, and a lot of companies have developed technologies that assist in securing broadband, and some of them are our potential customers for the future.
Representatives from each government and international organizations have also reacted positively. They responded favorably to Korea after interacting with member states and participating in the heated meetings to realize the Connect 2020 vision.
Cybersecurity, on research and then ICT deployment, and on future capacity building programs where the government of Korea will assist the government of Kenya to build capabilities to train high-end skills in ICTs.
I believe that Korea is one of the most developed countries as far as ICT facilities are concerned. Not only these facilities are available for the ordinary citizen, but Korea has an industry with research and development effort which is giving it a lead in the world.
Economic impact generated from the latest ITU Plenipotentiary Conference is astronomical. Direct and indirect economic impact involving tourism, conventions, ICT, Hallyu or Korean Wave, and exports is likely to total $676.5 million. Moreover, the latest conference will also enable Korea to kill 3 birds with 1 stone, leading to a rise in national status, including the country's brand value and Busan's images, as well as boosting the country's and regional economy. The place where the biggest and most glittering event and fierce policy competitions among countries are taking place. The ICT power-like smart city is even holding special events with citizens. With such a festive atmosphere, Busan is now writing a history for bigger advancement of ITU.
Next year is the 150th anniversary of ITU. So this conference is quite important for the next 10 and 20 years for the development of ITU. And it means it also very good stepping stone for the ITU to be the more important organization in the world.
Korea has been recognized as an optimal partner in the global ICT market. A Korean official has been elected to one of the top ITU seats. The latest conference is set to have a huge economic impact on the country, which has taken a leap forward as a diplomatic power. We hope the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference will successfully end, showing the world Korea's status as the top ICT power.
On the sidelines of the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference down in Busan, all the latest high-tech gadgets, systems and services are being displayed. And among them is 5G mobile telecommunications technologies, which Korean researchers believe are the future of global communications. So, What does 5G offer? How far advanced is it from existing technologies, and when might its first service roll out?
The race to develop the fifth generation mobile communication technology has genuinely begun. It's a dream communication technology that's 1,000 times faster than the fourth generation long-term evolution, or LTE. Let's take a look at how 5G mobile communications, set to be commercialized in 2020, will change our lives and how far its development has come. Busan is hosting the largest ever International Telecommunications Union, or ITU Plenipotentiary Conference. Of this, the world's eyes are on the World IT Show, or WIS, in which each country is showing off their latest information communication technologies, or ICTs. Telecommunications firms from around the world unveiled their latest technologies, ranging from smart home systems that control every device at home with smartphone to tiny unmanned drones. During the WIS and arena of the latest ICTs, the biggest topic was the new 5G technology, dubbed the next generation for mobile communications.
금년 제7회를 맡고 있는 우리 월드 IT 쇼는 외국계 기업 100여 개를 포함해서 420개 업체가 참여해서 5G 시대로의 도약이라는 주제를 가지고 전시회를 운영하고 있습니다.
SK Telecom has unveiled its technology on 5G network pilot studies. It raised the network speed to a maximum of 3.7 gigabytes per second, 48 times faster than that of general LTE.
실제 LTE보다 약 50배 정도 빠른 속도를 보이고 있습니다. 보시는 바와 같이 3.7GBps 정도를 나타내고 있고요. 이 정도의 용량을 통해서는 UHD 콘텐츠를 무선으로 100명에게 동시에 전송할 수 있는 정도의 용량이 되고, 100명, 기존에 있는 LTE 같은 경우에는 기껏해야 2~3명 정도 UHD 콘텐츠가 무선으로 전송될 수 있는 수준입니다. 따라서 이를 통해 가지고 저희가 5G에 대한 핵심 역량을 확보를 할 수가 있고요.
The first ever demonstration of 5G technology has also drawn much attention from a lot of foreign firms that participated in the WIS.
I thought 4G was incredibly fast. This just makes it instantaneous. It's like you're right next to the data. I mean, no latency whatsoever. So, but I can't wait for 5G actually. That'd be really good.
I think 5G is very interesting because it will increase the speeds up towards the 10 gigabits that some of our adapters support and some of the technologies that we have. So I think 5 gig will bring a whole new range of Ultra HD streaming technologies, and those technologies will need quality of service, guaranteed delivery, and security products.
An international standard on 5G mobile communications technology has not been determined yet. But the concept of 5G currently being discussed is a communications technology and service that supports speeds of 50 to 100 gigabytes per second, which is about 1,000 times faster on average than the general speed of LTE, which is 75 megabytes per second. First-generation mobile communications enabled only analog voice communications between people with brick-sized phones. The second generation, which transmitted digitally, enabled data transmission such as text messages as well as voice. From the third generation, smartphones appeared. The current fourth generation enabled high-definition video calls. The key to approaching fifth-generation mobile communications is for an ultra-high-speed, real-time mobile life. 5G mobile communications is forecast to use ultra-high frequency bands together with currently used low-band frequencies. Ultra-high frequency is an alternative to overcome the lack of frequencies in low-frequency bands. But it causes a large radio wave loss and has a short frequency traveling range. The core technology of 5G is to overcome such problems.
대부분의 이동통신은 6GHz 이하를 사용하고 있는데 6GHz 이하의 주파수에서 5세대의 추가적인 주파수를 얻기는 그렇게 용이치 않을 것 같습니다. 그래서 세계적으로 6GHz 이상의 5세대 이동통신 기술들을 좀 보고 있는데요. 문제는 이 대역의 가장 큰 문제가 수분에 대해서 굉장히 민감하고 그리고 장애물을 잘 통과를 못함으로써 커버리지가 굉장히 작아서 이동통신 주파수로서는 그렇게 적합하지 않다고 생각을 해왔는데 최근에 국내 회사에서 사용자들을 향해서 강한 신호를 쏠 수 있는 이 빔포밍 기술을 개발을 해서 100km 이상 달리면서도 광대역 서비스를 할 수 있다는 시연을 성공적으로 해냈습니다.
Samsung Electronics has recently succeeded in demonstrating transmitting and receiving data at a speed of 1.2 gigabytes per second inside a car running at a speed of more than 100 kilometers per hour. It was the world's first demonstration of gigabytes per second level 5G mobile communications in real high-speed mobile environments instead of a lab. Samsung Electronics has secured a giga-level transmission speed by applying the adaptive array transceiver technology in the ultra-high frequency band of 28 GHz. This technology enabled transmitting and receiving radio waves farther in certain directions by arraying numerous antenna elements. What will happen to our lives once 5G is commercialized? The key to 5G is real-time and connection with things. As it enables the instant processing of so much data, every device is likely to be connected wirelessly. If all the devices are connected, it will likely to speed up the development of the so-called Internet of Things. In other words, it will be able to control all the machines at home or smart cars that autonomously run on the road by receiving road information in real time. Moreover, it will enable us to make three-dimensional video calls or holographic conversations and enjoy hologram concerts. We will also be able to virtually play tennis or admire the scenery. Unmanned drones that deliver goods are also slated to be commercialized. These delivery drones fly so they can deliver ordered goods to customers in just a few minutes after loading the parcels. This is not only happening in Korea. Major countries are also competing fiercely to dominate 5G technology in advance. Japan has announced it will commercialize 5G for the first time in the world. China is seeking to cooperate with global firms in development of 5G. Korea, which has been leading the global mobile communications market, plans to unveil 5G technology to the world at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in February of 2018, after beginning its trial service in December of 2017.
4세대 LTE 기술만 봐도 우리나라 같은 경우에는 그 전국망도 세계 최초이고요. LTE 어드밴스도 세계 최초다 보니까 새로운 기술인 5세대를 선도해 가는데 새로운 기회가 있을 거라고 생각을 합니다.
5G is the dream mobile communication technology that connects all the objects in real time. Expectations are rising whether this can be a new growth engine that blows life into a wide range of industries, including mobile communications, cars, home appliances, healthcare, and education.
Abenomics was originally praised as just the shot in the arm the Japanese economy needed to recover from prolonged stagnation. Now, 2 years into the Shinzo Abe administration, how has Abenomics fared and what are its implications for Korea? Moreover, for decades now, Japanese and Korean manufacturers have been competing head-to-head in key sectors in the global markets. But now, Chinese firms are muscling into those very same sectors. Where will this all lead? These are some of the questions we have for our guest today. He's the Chief Macro Researcher at the Korea Institute of Finance. Dr. Park Jung-gyu, welcome to Bizline.
Hi.
Okay, well thanks for joining us. Firstly, let's just talk Abenomics. I think here in Korea it's just widely seen as the key issue being a very, very weak yen. I think Abenomics is actually a lot more than that, is it not? Talk us through what are the ABCs of Abenomics.
Abenomics consists of Mr. Abe's three signature policies. He called them three arrows. The term arrow is quoted from Japan's 500-year-old folk tale, and every Japanese know the story and they love the story. And the three arrows are the first, unlimited monetary expansion. It's like a quantitative easing, but it's more aggressive quantitative easing than that of the United States. And the second arrow is the substantial fiscal expansion, and it intended to increase the fiscal deficit of Japan in the fiscal year of 2013 to 11.5%, which is very large amount of fiscal debt deficit compared with the European peripheral countries who suffered their own fiscal crisis several years ago. And the third arrow is the growth policy, which includes several deregulation and participating in TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership.
The FTA with the USA, right.
And these three arrows are aiming at deliverance of Japan's economy from its 2-decade-long prolonged recession and deflation, which has persisted in Japan for the last 15 uninterrupted years. And I think the naming of Abenomics was very brilliant, you know.
Signature policy,
Yes, because by naming the policy to be three arrows, Mr. Abe could successfully give the very indelible and clear message to his people that if his three policies are carried out together, they cannot fail to hit the mark.
Of course, the question is, let's have your assessment now. You've defined it. How successful has it been in bringing the Japanese economy out of these two lost decades?
Yes. For the first several months of the Abe administration, the Abenomics was a spectacular success, and developments in the Japanese financial market was so impressive, especially the Nikkei stock prices rose 60%, staggering 60% in just 6 months. And there were a lot of positive signs indicating the recovery of Japan's economy, not only in the financial sector, but also in real economic activities. But it was May of last year when then Fed Chairman Mr. Bernanke announced that the United States is considering the end of its QE by this year, and his remark immediately proved to be a first storm to the Abenomics, and shaking the very foundation of the Abenomics, which is, I think, confidence of the Japanese people. And since then, Japan's economy has not been the same as it was during the early months. And the average growth rate from the third quarter of last year to the second quarter of this year just amounts to just practically equal to 0%. And the inflation rate in the second quarter this year is 3.5%, which is pretty high compared with its target interest rate, which is 2%. But mostly the inflation came from consumption tax rate hike in the last April, and import price increase due to weaker yen contributed a lot to produce that inflation rate. So after excluding such external factors, I think the demand pool inflation rate of Japan is quite below the target rate, which is 2%.
So you're suggesting the economy really hasn't moved.
Right. In terms of real growth rate and inflation rate, I think Abenomics by now is not working.
Okay, well that's a solid judgment. But let me ask you. I mean, clearly there was the fiscal expansion. Clearly there was the weakened yen. But of course, the third pillar, or part of the third pillar, was significant reform in the Japanese economy to overcome, as you say, the stagnation. And I think a lot of questions still hang over whether those reform efforts have really been undertaken. Have they?
Yeah, many people are wondering that whether the third arrow really started from the
hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, yes. The package of 3 arrows is lacking a very important policy agenda, which is strong and resolved fiscal consolidation policy. Because Japan's fiscal situation is very scary. Its government debt is amounting to more than 240% of its nominal GDP.
How does that compare with sort of the European countries during their crisis?
Worst in the world. That level is worst in the world. And Japan's fiscal deficit last year is very high compared with other European countries.
I mean, I mean, for example, the US has for as long as I can remember, run this sort of massive fiscal deficits. How sustainable is this for Japan?
I think Japan is already on the path of unsustainable fiscal path. We can summarize the situation of Japan's fiscal policy as a person who earns $40,000 a year, but he spends $90,000 a year, and he has to borrow $50,000 a year. So it's a kind of economy without hitting lottery jackpot, inevitably, destined to a bankruptcy.
This can't go on. So how do you sustain that? What path did it?
Everything depends on the tax elasticity with respect to the nominal GDP. They have to broaden its tax base, and also they have to adjust its tax schedule. Very progressive consumption tax rate increase. I think it's not enough to guard Japan's against the fiscal crisis.
You're suggesting we may see a rising corporate tax in Japan?
It depends on how Japanese people and Japan's politicians determine about the corporate tax rate. But I think Japan's corporate sectors, their savings are very large. The Japan's corporate firms are saving very large, and the corporate savings rate, which is corporate income divided by the national income, Japan's data is number 1 for the last about 10 years. So Japan's firm is highly saving.
So they could afford to take a hit.
Right. So I think Japan's corporate firms have to share the burden of adjusting the fiscal situation.
Or share their wealth.
Yes, share the wealth.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, here in Korea, one of the sort of the key issues of Abenomics is the weak yen, which of course impacts Korean exports. How long do you think this weak yen trend will persist?
I think at least for the next year or two, weak yen will persist, because the economic situation of the United States and Japan are diametrically different in recent years. So U.S. economy is recovering and is ready to raise its federal funds rate, but Japan's economic situation is disappointing, and they need a longer monetary expansion. So that means yen is going to stay
for at least another year. We're now seeing Chinese firms muscling into pretty much exactly the same sectors that the Japanese and the Koreans are already competing in. Is this sustainable? And if not, where is this trend going to lead in the medium to long term?
The emergence of China as an economic powerhouse will be an opportunity and a challenge for Korea and Japan. But for the next several years, the emergence of China will be closer to a challenge rather than to an opportunity. It has been an opportunity for both countries, but in the future, it'll be more a challenge.
And you're saying that why? Because the Chinese firms are getting increasingly competitive, better products, better technology, stronger brands?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Korea and Japan, I think, have to embrace the competition from China because the two countries does not have enough resource endowment to rely on for further sustainable growth and prosperity. Yeah. And I think, especially for Korea, the ultimate driving forces of sustained growth and prosperity are competition and innovation. So we have to exploit the increased challenge from China to induce more innovative activities. So that will help both for Korean economy and the Chinese economy.
Well,
I think
yeah, fingers crossed and touch wood.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll see, I suspect, sooner rather than later. Dr. Park, thank you very much indeed for being on Bizline.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you
for having
once
me here.
again.
Yes.
Is there a way to personally keep our SNS or smartphone photos that bring back memories? The app of the week is Snaps, that enables you to create your own personal mobile photo album. First thing you need to do is to pick the theme of the photo book. Let's select a photo for the cover and insert a theme and title. Now it is time to choose photos for the album. You can select all the photos from your existing photo albums. Most of all, its advantage is you can see the photos by leafing through the album's pages before making an order. With just a few clicks, you can easily make the order and pay for it. Facebook users can select Facebook Story to create photo books using the photos and comments posted on Facebook. Now you can easily keep precious photos taken with families, friends, and lovers in a photo book.
Perhaps no fuel is as old-fashioned as coal. Coal was one of the driving forces of the Industrial Revolution, but is today one of the key culprits in environmental pollution. And yet many countries today still rely very heavily upon it. And this is why Korean researchers have come up with an innovative new hybrid coal. Not only does this raise efficiency, it also reduces pollution.
Coal has long been the primary fossil fuel to generate electricity and heat for human civilization. Coal has lost its fuel rank, stigmatized as the biggest contributor to the human-made carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas that causes climate change. But it has recently made a strong comeback through various applications. Local researchers have also made a breakthrough in developing a refining technology to remove pollutants and modify shortcomings of low-rank coals. Since the monstrous earthquake accompanied by a tsunami in the nuclear complex in Fukushima in March of 2011, Japan and other parts of the world are shifting away from nuclear power and turning instead to coal for a cheap source of electricity. Coals remain the cheapest, safe energy source that can replace nuclear power. To save costs, low-rank coals are opted to power generators, which undermine global efforts and rules limiting fossil fuel emissions and supporting cleaner energy. The Korea Institute of Energy Research in Daejeon has come up with a solution to the problem by developing a manufacturing process on hybrid coal for the first time in the world.
우리나라의 경우에 2013년 기준으로 총 석탄 수입량은 연간 1억 2천만 톤입니다. 이 중에서 8천만 톤이 국내 5개 발전사를 중심으로 소비가 되고 있고요. 8천만 톤 중에서 약 3천만 톤 정도가 인도네시아에서 수입되는 저급탄이 되겠습니다. 이와 같은 상황에서 저급탄을 고급탄처럼 쓸 수 있도록 저급탄을 업그레이딩하는 하이브리드 석탄 기술을 저희 연구팀에서 처음으로 개발을 하게 되었습니다.
How does low heat content and highly pollutant low-grade brown coal metamorphosize into high-energy and environmentally friendly substance? Low-grade coals have pores with high-level inherent moisture content. Coals are ranked low depending on the moist content as it leads to low energy density. After removing the moist content from the raw coal, researchers fill the pores with biomass made out of molasses, glycerol, and sugarcane waste. The coal is then dried and ionized to reborn as hybrid solid fuel.
본 기술과 같이 석탄 기공 안에 바이오매스를 함전시킬 경우 두 가지 연료가 하나의 연료로 전환되면서 연소 효율도 증가되게 됩니다.
Composition of well-burning biomass content has sharply boosted the energy value of coal or amount of potential energy that can be transferred into actual heating ability. 1 kilogram of coal can generate heat of at least 1,300 kilocalories. The hydrophilic surface of low-grade coal is also changed to its opposite nature by reducing water absorptive ability and stopgap in the void.
하이브리드 석탄 제조 과정에서 친수성인 석탄 표면은 소수성으로 전환이 되는데요. 이에 따라서 저급탄이 갖고 있는 약 20에서 30%의 수분을 다시 재흡수하는 것을 방지할 수 있어서 인도네시아 현지에서 국내 이송 시에 그만큼의 경제적인 효과도 기대할 수가 있습니다.
Increased energy content of hybrid coal can reduce emissions of carbon emissions during the combustion process.
수분을 30%가량 머금고 있는 저급탄, 원탄에 비해서 적은 양의 연료를 사용하기 때문에 그만큼의 CO2를 줄일 수가 있겠습니다.
When applied in a thermal power station, coal use can be reduced by 2/3 when generated by hybrid coal fuel compared with imported unrefined Indonesian coal. Because less coal is used, greenhouse gas emissions also can be reduced by around 30%.
원탄의 경우 500메가와트 출력을 내기 위해서 약 시간당 300톤의 석탄을 공급해야 되는 반면 우리가 개발한 하이브리드 석탄은 시간당 약 200톤으로서 그만큼의 연료를 줄일 수가 있어서 그만큼의 효율을 늘릴 수 있습니다. 발전 효율을 약 2% 정도 향상시킬 수 있었는데요. 발전 효율이 1% 향상될 때마다 연간 배출되는 CO2의 양을 300만 톤 정도 줄이는 효과가 있겠습니다.
Korean-developed hybrid coal technology is being discussed for exports to Indonesia, Mongol, and Rwanda.
해외 기술 이전이 가능한 수익성 있는 사업화 모델로서 미래 신에너지 산업을 창출하고자 합니다.
Amid coordinated efforts between governments around the world to reduce and stabilize concentration of greenhouse gases, the new technology on environmentally friendly and cost-efficient coal fuel will likely be in high demand in the global energy market. Korea, with patent rights in the technology, can reap economic benefits from exports in technology and resources diplomacy.
최근 중국이 2008년 이후에 석탄 수출국에서 수입국으로 전환되면서 석탄 가격 불균형과 수급 불균형 그리고 저급탄에 대한 관심이 크게 고조되고 있는 상황입니다. 향후에 2030년 경우에 석탄 수요가 급증하게 될 것으로 전망이 되고 있는데 그때 당시에 고급탄 부족에 대응하여 저급탄의 고품위화를 통해서 에너지 수급 안정화에 크게 기여할 수 있을 것으로 평가하고 있습니다.
The International Energy Agency estimates global coal use will jump 65% from 2009 levels in 2035 and replace oil as the largest fuel in the global energy mix. The new alternative coal generating less pollution and higher energy may one day change global energy fuel pipeline.
Last week, the city of Incheon successfully hosted the Asian Para Games. And at this event for disabled athletes, one of the first-time participants was North Korea. And this, of course, raises a question. Inside North Korea, what kind of policies exist to help the disabled? Moreover, even if such policies have been enacted, how far are they actually implemented in practice?
The Asia Para Games that ran through October 18 through the 24th at the city of Incheon was the largest ever regional event, with about 6,000 athletes from 41 countries aiming for 440 gold medals. Among them were 9 athletes from North Korea competing in 4 disciplines. North Koreans participating for the first time in the Asia Para Games did not go home empty-handed. They were rewarded with 2 bronze medals. We hear disheartening stories about human rights violations in North Korea. The sight of North Korean athletes with impairments in sports competition raises questions about the conditions for the disabled people there.
공식적으로 북한에서는 장애인의 존재 자체를 가지고 북한에서는 외부에 이제 공개하지 않았기 때문에 그것과 관련되어진 어떤 정책이나 법률적 조항은 우리가 좀 발견하기가 좀 어려웠습니다. 그렇기 때문에 사실 한 2000년 이전까지는 북한의 어떤 장애인과 관련되어진 법적 조항이나 정책 이런 부분에 대해서는 우리가 알 수가 없었죠.
North Korea acted as if disabled people did not exist in the country, having scrupulously kept them out of sight, especially from foreign eyes.
여러 차례 평양 방문을 하면서 눈여겨봤었지만은 실제로 한 번도 평양 시내에서 목발을 짚은 사람이나 휠체어를 탄 주민을 본 적이 없습니다. 평양이 또 정치적인 목적의 특별한 도시이기 때문에 그런 정치적인 과거의 의도도 없지 않았던가 그런 생각이 갖게 됩니다.
People with disabilities are hard to find on the streets of Pyongyang, which North Korea calls a paradise under the skies.
In 2006, it was the United Nations Special Rapporteur that recorded this, claim that disabled people are not allowed to reside in the showcase capital of Pyongyang. But actually, I don't have independent information to confirm or disconfirm that one way or another. It may be quite possible that disabled people were discouraged or, it's made it harder for them to live in Pyongyang, but I don't know whether that was an official law or not.
After long denying the existence of disabled people, North Korea in 2003 admitted to their existence by enacting a law to protect their rights. The law officially guarantees disabled people's rights to rehabilitation, education, and everyday lives.
장애자의 회복 문제, 또 교육 문제, 또 이동 문제, 주거 문제 이것과 관련돼 가지고 이제 국가에서 해줄 수 있는 부분들이 이제 명기는 되어져 있습니다. 그러나 실질적으로 이 부분도 국가가 장애인들에 대해 가지고 구체적으로 제공할 수 있는 부분이 별로 없기 때문에 지금까지는 이제 이런 법을 갖고 있다. 어찌 보게 되면 좀 이제 대외용적인 그런 성격이 강하기 때문에 실질적으로 장애인들에게 얼마만큼 혜택과 지원이 돌아가고 있는가는 우리가 확인할 수 없죠.
Although the treatment of disabled people remains veiled, facilities and labor regulations for them do exist.
장애자 시설로도 보육원이라든가 또 특별하게 49호 요양소 같은 우리식으로 이야기하면은 정신병원입니다. 그런 시설들이 북한에도 군 단위로 있죠. 또 북한은 그냥 경증, 중증 이런 식으로 분류를 하면서 그 장애 정도에 따라서 노동에도 경노동, 중노동 하루에 8시간 정도 그 장애 상태에 따라서 작업장에 동원되고 있는 그런 상황이라고 보여집니다.
North Korean attitude and treatment toward the disabled appears to be improving under Kim Jong-un. North Korea made its Paralympic Games debut at the 2012 London Summer Paralympics and the Asian Para Games, a recent event in Incheon.
I think that partially as well, it's to do with trying to engage more with the international community to get more support and trying to take the heat off themselves. They see that they're more and more diplomatically isolated, and part of that is this growing international consensus on human rights criticism. And so this is one of the ways that maybe they can try and break out and say that, okay, we're going to engage on rights issues, and disability is one of those low-level kind of non-political areas that they can engage on without having really any kind of political or stability threat to themselves.
Of course, North Korea legally guarantees welfare for common people as well as the disabled. In its recently unveiled self-drawn human rights report, North Korea provides its people with free housing, education, and medical care under its socialist system. But experts believe these basic welfare provisions exist in name only and hardly are observed.
무상 의료와 이제 배급제는 사회주의 사실 기본 운영 원리죠. 그러나 북한은 1990년대 중반부터 이제 식량난이 가중되었고 그것 때문에 사실 이제 북한 주민들에게 공급되어지는 국가로부터 공급이 이제 현실적으로 어렵게 되어졌고요. 또한 이제 그러다 보니까 이제 의료 체계도 붕괴되어졌기 때문에 실질적으로 북한 주민들에게 필요한 의료 공급이 제때 이루어지지 않는 그런 상황입니다.
Since food distribution and state support more or less stopped after the North Korean economy severely weakened following the collapse of the Soviet Union and the widespread famine of the 90s, North Koreans were on their own over the last 2 decades to feed and take care of themselves.
Actually, North Korea had a relatively functioning state socialist economy. Of course, this was propped up by its socialist and communist allies during the Cold War period, most notably the USSR. But since then, and since the end of the Cold War and the death of Kim Il-sung kind of coincided, North Korea had this huge economic collapse. The state socialist economy completely doesn't function anymore and has not recovered since then.
Without the basic social security system a socialist system guarantees, North Koreans hardly receive any social benefits from their government. It is questionable whether a working welfare policy exists in the country.
북한이 국가 운영의 방향을 좀 바꿔야죠. 지금처럼 이제 예를 핵무기나 장거리 미사일 이런 어떤 군사비에 투입되는 비용을 가지고 북한 주민들의 생활 향상에 돌려야 되겠고요. 전체 북한 주민들을 대상으로 해서 필요한 정책이 무엇인가라고 했을 때는 지금의 북한의 성군 정치 노선 이런 부분에 어떤 가감한 수정이 있어야 되겠죠.
Ever since the Great Famine has wreaked havoc on the country's economy in the 1990s, North Korea has never fully recovered its socialist system that boasts of fair distribution and welfare. North Korea must look inward instead of making rackets and raising military tensions on the border front if it wants what's best for its people and country.
And that's all we have time for on Bizline this week. But do join us again next week. We've got a whole smorgasbord of features lined up for you. For example, a new kind of shop is now opening in Korea, the so-called lifestyle store. What's inside? We'll take a look and see what they're selling and who's buying. Then, on the macroeconomic front, the United States looks set soon to end its policy of quantitative easing. What effect might a tight money supply have on the Korean economy? We'll find out next week. We'll also be finishing our coverage of the 2014 ITU Plenipotentiary Conference down in Busan. So, do join us then, but that's all for now. I'm Andrew Salmon. This was Bizline. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.